decision is to sit out, right? You can't hurt yourself. You're pretty much on top of the world, 16-0 with 42 touchdowns and no interceptions total. You can't really hurt your stock by sitting out, even though the biggest thing you have working against you is your 1 year sample size. But I mean, we see quarterbacks get pushed up the board every year, and there's been plenty of guys that have only had that 1 year sample size that still went top 5 or even number 1 overall. So I think sitting out is the obvious option. But I mean, there's only 2 schools I would even consider, and that's Oklahoma or LSU. Now, I think Oklahoma would be the better option for him, even though I was just talking about this to somebody on the timeline. They have a kid there that was the number 1 quarterback, I think, a couple of years ago. But I mean, if you're Lincoln Riley, I think it's a no-brainer decision. I'm going to take the proven player all day that's done it in college already over a kid that has high school hype. I think it's a no-brainer decision for me. And then the LSU dynamic, I think they have something working in their favor just because they already have a kid that came from the program in Jabril Cox. And I'm sure Cox has already put something in his ear already with him coming down there. Now it's a little bit different because Joe Brady's not there. So the system may be a little bit different, but the surrounding pieces are going to be phenomenal for him. So I think it's only 2 schools for me if he wants to play this year. But I think the obvious decision for Trey is to sit out this year.
It's interesting. He has 288 career pass attempts, right? And it's like we've seen Trubisky had 572, but he only had 1 year as a starter, and he went top 3. Cam Newton, I think, had 282, and he really only played 1 year. Now, granted, he played in the SEC and played at Auburn and won a national championship at the highest level competition. So I think there's a lot of variables here. Jordan, it sounds like if it were you, you're sitting.
Oh, without question. I can't hurt myself. I can't hurt myself if I sit out.
Would you consider like sitting out and then going with LSU in the spring and then or not LSU, NDSU in the spring and then going next year? Because do you think it's a competition thing? Like, do you think – I mean, he would still be fine at like LSU, but at NDSU, it'll be easier to kind of put up those gaudy stats and kind of stay intact if they want more reps.
The only thing about that is, I mean, if you play in the spring, like what's going to happen? Like with the draft, you're not going to have time to prepare. Yeah. I mean, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. So if you play in the spring, like is the draft still going to happen in April? Is it going to happen in May? Like, I don't know. That's the only bad thing about that.
Yeah, it's almost like the NFL needs to outline, like, because what if they let those kids do supplemental draft, right? Because if you know you can still get in, you could still play and still get in ahead of the 2021 NFL season, that makes it interesting. But I don't think the league's going to be out that far in front of it to give you the answers you need to make that kind of decision.
Yeah. I don't know, man. He's in a tough spot. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, like, Dre, I mean, you've been part of this process from the league level. Like, what do you think those conversations are like with, imagine talking to Scott Pioli or John Dorsey about Trey Lance? How do you think they would perceive this player if you were to go into the league based on his merits right now and not play? Is there enough there that you think a team would make that type of investment early?
I think that there have been sample sizes like Kyle Dane of people who have done it. And I think you almost have to leave and I mean, because his stock can't get any higher than it is. He's already a middle round, top round guy. I mean, so realistically, where can he go? I mean, I think you always risk injury. There's the unknown factor. Why risk it? I think he goes. I think that's the only option.